Hello, this is Ziya with the Madison Company, and this is part 2 of a sales manager topic. The topic is observing a sales rep during a joint call session or coaching session in the field. In part 1, I mentioned the specific need for the sales manager to observe and not talk or not participate in a joint sales call. Now, this is a coaching call. This is something that a sales manager needs to do. We call that field on the job training, FOJT for short, and it helps by observing to identify the sales rep's strengths and weaknesses in selling skills, the interaction with the customer, and your better understanding of the salesperson's strengths and weaknesses and dynamics. But looking at it from a practical standpoint, it's very, very difficult for a sales manager to not participate during a call. We've had the history of always participating during a call as a sales rep and as a sales manager, and probably up to date, you've helped a salesperson close or handle objections, and that's one of the reasons that you go out into the field with a salesperson. But you need to back away from that. You need to, as a sales manager, observe, and not participating in the call doesn't mean that you're not really involved in the call, but you're just not talking during the call. Let me present to you 4 specific steps that you can take so that you can observe during the call. Okay? Step 1, set expectations for the sales rep before the call. Be very, very specific to the salesperson and say, I'm not going to talk during the call. This is something different. Yet at the same time, I'm going to be observing and taking notes. The only time that you would interject or you would get involved in the call, even after saying that you don't, is when the salesperson is saying something totally wrong or something against the law or against compliance. These are the only times that you would interject. But other than that, if the salesperson is not saying certain things about the sales call that would help to close the sale, you don't interject, you observe. I know it's tough, but you're going to have to do it that way, and you say that specifically, exactly like that to the salesperson. Step 2 is setting the expectations for the customer. And for the customer, the salesperson, you need to explain to them and even do a role play before the call to say that this is something that the company has undertaken as a training assignment. And what we're doing is we're developing the skill sets of the sales rep so that they can better service the customer needs. Again, need to mention to the customer, the salesperson needs to mention to the customer that the sales manager will not be talking, will be taking notes. Yet at the same time, it's important that the sales manager needs to make sure that they are introduced in the proper manner. So that's the second step. Step 3 is during the call. And during the call, the sales manager needs to specifically take notes. And taking notes in 2 columns. One is the sales activities itself. What are the discussion topics with the customer? But the second, and more importantly, if it's a coaching session, you want to observe what the salesperson is doing and saying. What type of handling objection skills does the salesperson have? Do they close? Do they ask questions properly? Are they open-ended? Do they have product knowledge? These are the things that you want to observe as a sales manager so that you can create some type of a development plan down the road. And last but not least, step 4, immediately after the call, you want to do a debrief. And you want to do a debrief on 2 elements. One is the sales actions or the sales talk or the activities, the selling between the manager, the sales rep and the customer. And secondly, you want to do a specific debrief with the sales rep on the selling skills. Maximum maybe 2, 3 items that you want to talk about. Maybe the handling the objections wasn't to your satisfaction or to your level, or there was no specific close, and that's something for them to work on. Leave about 2 or 3 developmental items with them. Again, you can only do this when you're observing. If you're participating in the call, you become part of the call and you are helping the salesperson to achieve the call, yet at the same time you really are not observing the skill sets of the sales rep. Now, as a sales manager, if you want to continue selling and want to make sure that your numbers are met, you can probably do it to a certain degree, but there are limitations. Because you have so many salespeople or you have a large territory, you can't be everywhere at the same time. However, if you develop a salesperson to bring them up to your level in selling skills, and done through observation in the field and coaching in the field and development, leaving development activities, that's something that probably will work longer term in your career. Very, very difficult, yet at the same time, if there's one thing that you can do is developing people, observe, coach before the call and after the call. This is Ziya Mohamedjani. Hope this helps, and we're always looking for feedback from you on Twitter, on Facebook, or through our website. Bye-bye.